You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Next one on my list, this is, again, one I had played before. It was another one Rob said he was interested in. He and I and Nick played. It was Inish, I-N-I-S. I may have an elevated opinion of this game based on personal history. So Inish is set in Ireland. It's like the settling of Ireland. Inish means island in Gaelic, and my wife and I actually went on our honeymoon on an island called Inishmore. So It was the original reason that I picked up this game after I played it one time. And then right whenever I first got it years ago, it doesn't get cold very often in Louisiana. And so there was a freeze one year, and we were off of work for a couple of days, and we played this game just nonstop, almost through the night. So it's got a special place in my heart for a couple of reasons. But anyway, it's
Do you own this copy?
Game. Yeah, I own the game.
Who's the publisher for your version?
I think it's Madigo.
Madigo. Christian Martinez, designer. Yeah,
designed by Christian Martinez. Yeah, so it's a drafting game, but what I like about it is that it's a very small number of cards that get recycled over and over again. So in a 2 and 3 player game, it's 13 cards, and in a 4 player game, it's 17 cards. So it's not. At least once you know the cards, you look at it, you see the picture, and you're like, oh, I do or I don't want that one. It's not like Terraforming Mars where you got a stack this big. So in my opinion, it's quick. And then there are 3 different victory conditions. Have 6 of this, have 6 of this, or have 6 of this. But what's cool about it is you can get this resource called a deed, as many as you want, and they decrease the requisite number that you have to have for each victory condition. So if I have a deed, I only have to get 5 of whatever, And then the last thing I like is, in order to win, you have to declare, hey, I'm about to win, pretty much like saying check.
It's like Uno?
Chess.
Yeah. A little bit.
Kind of, yeah. You have to grab what's called a pretender token. And so it alerts everybody else like, oh, wow, if I didn't notice that, because the victory conditions aren't always super evident. But if I'm using one of those deeds to cash in for the pretender token, and then somebody does something to where I no longer have the victory condition, I've lost that deed now. So it's a little bit of a give and take. I don't know if it hit as well for Nick and Rob as for me. I give this game probably a 9. It's one of my favorites of all time. But again, I have those experiences tied into it.
Sure.
And that's what makes gaming good. It's not just the game itself. It's the people and your experiences you bring to the table.
I don't know if you're going to have anything to say about Inish, Carlos.
Other than it seems to me like a dudes on a map game, which has me interested in playing. I mean, there's little dudes on a map.
Yeah, for sure. This is a game that again, my experience is going to be a little on the other side. This is a game I think definitely benefits from multiple plays. So again, having only played it once, I know again it's a well-liked game. This is one that pops up a lot. I've heard it for years, and I've wanted to play it for years. I would say I was a little disappointed by my play. I think it's partially, again, admittedly, my slow on the uptake. It takes me a little longer to grasp the general rules and to remember the cards. And as you mentioned, this game is a huge benefit in knowing that small group of cards. Do you remember how many cards it is in the deck? It's like maybe 12 cards.
So with 2 and 3 players, there's 13. And in 4 players, there's 17.
Oh, okay, so it does scale a little bit. So with our game with 13 cards, I felt, we were playing was me, you, and Nick. Nick has a memory like almost nobody I've ever seen before. I think he had memorized all the cards in the first round. We were on the 4th or 5th round, and I was still seeing cards being like, I probably have had that card once or twice before, but I didn't read exactly what it did, and I didn't quite understand. And so I would say I was getting creamed in this game, but to be honest, I don't really feel like I was getting creamed. I think at the end of the game, I was only 1 or 2 regions away from where I needed to be until Nick started pushing me out of the spots. But I don't know. I felt like I was fighting an uphill battle. I didn't quite know what was going on until we were 2/3 of the way through the game, and Nick was taking those tokens and stuff, and was kind of declaring that he was about to win. And I was like, "Oh wow, that was kind of quick." I'm just kind of starting to get my head wrapped around this thing, and now I feel like it's almost over. It took Nick a few extra rounds, and I think partially because he didn't know the game. Either he'd mentioned in retrospect there was something he could have done like a round or 2 earlier that probably would have given him the win. And I know at the end you saw it coming. You told me, you're like, I think we are going to have to do something about Nick really quick, because otherwise he's got this thing wrapped up. But I would say just from my one play, I would give it a 6. I'd say I definitely would play it again, but the 6 would be my rating just off the one play. I'd say it was okay. Again, I think I'm going to have to be in the mood to play it again. I'd like to try it at 4, although I think the scaling is pretty
better at 4.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately a 6, but again, one I'm definitely open to trying again.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.